Welcome to the channel. In today's video, I'll be going over several tips that are going to get you to your desired rank in Apex Legends. In the past, I've achieved both Apex Predator and Apex Master multiple times on PC and console, so I feel like I can share valuable information to help you guys succeed in the ranked playlist. This video is going to be beneficial to you whether you're brand new to the Apex ranked system or an experienced player looking to hit a higher rank. There's also timestamps in this video, so you're quickly able to jump around to find exactly what you need. I'm going to start this video off with several key points on what your journey should be like on the ranked grind and specific tips to help you in each rank, and then I'm going to get into several general tips that will be super beneficial to every player. So let's hop right into it. First up, we have the beginner phase, as I would call it in Apex rank, and that's any rank between rookie and silver. When you're fresh and new into the game, this is all about finding your main character and becoming comfortable with a couple different legends to try and help out the team. I would recommend being comfortable with one support, one recon, and then maybe one skirmisher or assault legend. That way you can always benefit the team even if your most used legend gets taken. Both public games and team deathmatch are really going to be beneficial to these players to learn more about how to use certain types of weapons and to get fast reps to understand combat more and learn the different maps in your public lobbies. The more reps that you get with your legend, then the more gunfights you experience, you will naturally become more comfortable and confident in your skills, and you'll want to learn the specifics to your character, like feeling out the right time to activate your abilities, such as Newcastle ulting to jump to teammates in need, or Wraith knowing down teammate needs a portal immediately to get them to safety. After you get through silver and on into gold, you're now getting into the intermediate phase of ranked, and this is where most of the community in Apex falls. Gold and platinum are very common ranks, and a lot of players feel like they sort of max out their skill here or when they finally reach diamond. But I'm going to share some ways this season on how you can break out of these gold, platinum, and even diamond ranks and reach higher than ever before. A lot of players, once they hit these ranks in gold through platinum, do all it takes to survive. They scan beacons and move to where they think the end zone will be, and they bunker up with rampart walls, seer ults, and Newcastle walls, and they expect to become higher ranked and better players because of it. While this can guarantee you some wins, it isn't going to transition you to being a better player, and honestly, once you get into diamond and above with this playstyle, you're going to die with 0 kill points and lose tons of RP, and your gains will be minimal. When you're a gold and platinum player, honestly, your cost to entry into the ranked game isn't that high. From gold 4 to plat 1, your cost to entry is going to be between 39 and 60, which you can easily make up just by dropping in and getting aggressive for a couple early kills. So this is my main take in gold to platinum, is you want to pick fights and get those reps in, and you want to pick a lot of them. Yes, third parties are common in ranked, and third party fights is what you want to do in order to be the most successful at a consistent basis when winning fights, but you and your team need to be confident going into diamond, because if you can't win a decent chunk of your 3v3 fights in gold or plat, then you're going to really struggle in diamond. In addition to this, kill points are key now in Apex ranked. It's usually much more beneficial to have 5, 6, 7 kill points and be a top 5 team than it is to end the game as the champion with 1 kill. My next point that I will address in gold to platinum lobbies and players that are playing solo versus team play. I don't really recommend most players to play solo in diamond or above, because probably 80% of the squads you're going to be facing are all going to be on the same page and wavelength. Many players complain about the solo grind to gaining ranks, and it's a fair point. The game is much more difficult with random players you are matched up with. In order to have the most success with randoms, you need to be vocal. Use your mic and use pings in game as much as possible. If you do not have a mic, this is Apex ranked, meaning this is supposed to be the best versus best. So invest in a mic to be able to communicate with your teammates. It's invaluable. Since you are being vocal and communicating enemy locations, drop spots, rotations, you need to take the in-game leader role when you're playing as a solo player. I know confidence is an issue with a lot of players. However, if no one gives the team orders, then the team will likely be sloppy and not work well together. Even if you call it a wrong or bad play, it's generally always better to have 3 players working together for a more difficult play than it is to have 3 players just all winging it themselves and seeing what happens. And that leads me into my last point about playing with randoms, and it is simply to be the best teammate you can be. Sharing loot, communicating, being kind, all of these things can lead you to having more confidence and being prepared to win the game, which in turn can lead you to finding friends to play with. I promise you, if you try your best to be a great teammate, then you won't be solo anymore, because you'll find other players that enjoy playing with you since you're a great teammate to them. Also, if you want to join my Discord, you can probably find teammates there as well. I'll leave a link in the description below. Hey guys, if you're enjoying this video, I would greatly appreciate it if you dropped a like to help share the video and subscribe to the channel for future Apex Legends content. Now let's get into 2 tips that are going to help break you through Diamond and reach Master and Predator. I'm basically going to share my overall rank tips in this Diamond, Master, and Predator section because you should be mastering and doing all of these things to have consistent success in your rank games and the high tiers. First up in this section, as you know now in Apex Season 16, there are 3 rotating maps for ranked, which are Stormpoint, Broken Moon, and World's Edge. It's honestly not a bad idea for any team to recognize which map their team plays the best and which map they play the worst. Naturally, certain legends work better in closer range settings like World's Edge, and others succeed more out in the open of Stormpoint and Broken Moon. So find out what map you and your team can gain points in consistently, and make sure to play on those days and avoid the days where your team's least favorite map is in rotation. The pro community has actually even been avoiding even playing Broken Moon a lot recently because of how detrimental the third parties are on that map. Another tip for these maps specifically is to avoid certain places on the map entirely, and that is because of the sheer massive numbers of teams that will be rotating through here and looking for fights. For Broken Moon, avoid Promenade, or at least avoid trying to take fights there and rotate through there quickly. At Stormpoint, try and avoid Jurassic Park or the Prowler Den area that's central on the map. And then in World's Edge, if possible, try to avoid Fragment and the tunnels on the map because third parties always go down in those tunnels and you'll commonly be pinched inside of there. Another massive tip in the ranked playlist that I don't see enough people doing, and it's really quite simple, but it's playing your life with the utmost importance. And what I mean by this is third parties in this game are inevitable, and a third party is basically when a third team comes in to interrupt the fight between 2 other teams, and they basically can clean up a clean sweep with these other 2 teams being distracted. And what I mean about playing your life super carefully is not going down and not challenging an enemy even if you have the numbers. In order to be the most successful in ranked, you need to be able to consistently win fights versus other teams without any teammates going down. Because I see it all the time. Your team has 3 players up while another team only has 1 player up. And then the player with the lowest health on the team of 3 challenges the solo because they know they have numbers with their teammates. But if that player goes down, a lot of the times in ranked, you're going to get third party. So you're going to have another team coming in right after that fight. And if your teammate goes down, then you're likely not going to win against that third party. Try to stay healthy at all costs. Next up, let's talk loadouts and team compositions, which get a lot more important and high level ranked. It sounds pretty simple, and it honestly is, but your loadout should be one medium or long range weapon paired with a short range secondary. The best secondary weapons in the game right now for short range are the R99, Peacekeeper, and the Prowler SMG. For your primary, there are tons of options like the Wingman, Flatline, R301, G7 Scout, etc. Just with your loadout, I try and play to my character's strengths as well. Like Gibraltar, for example, is exceptional at poking from range with weapons like the G7, and he's crazy good with a shotgun dancing in and around his bubble. So I try and always play to my character's strengths with my weapon selections. Getting into team-specific compositions, popular legends you're commonly going to see in high-level rank this season are Wraith, Valk, Newcastle, Seer, Loba, Catalyst, Bangalore. There's a lot of others as well, but all of these legends are all very common in the ranked scene, so you're obviously going to want to know how to counter them and also how to take advantage of your abilities and team composition to the best of your ability. One of the best legends for, I believe, all levels of ranked is going to be Loba, now that the support class can craft banners. She's able to loot your entire team up with gear, stack you up with ammo, and she's always able to get away if she needs to. When balancing out a team composition, I usually want to have at least one legend that is basically the mobility for the team. So legends like Valkyrie, Pathfinder, Wraith, Octane, Ashe, these legends all help you to rotate to get into the circle safely and avoid being pinched from multiple teams. In addition to mobility for the team, typically I like to have one support legend that can help anchor and stabilize the team when, say, another teammate goes down. Loba, Newcastle, Gibby, and even Lifeline, they're all viable this season. Then lastly, it's team dependent on whether you prioritize a controller legend versus a scanning recon legend, or maybe even an assault legend to be super aggressive. Now, the controller legends are the legends that gain ring knowledge and info. It's sometimes beneficial to run a controller legend so you can scan beacons and move to the next ring before that ring closes. This is more of a passive playstyle. Catalyst is a super popular pick right now, and Imperial Hal has been maining her in ranked and showing her usefulness. Catalyst has demonstrated even to me how she can control positioning by blocking doors and forcing teams to move away from certain paths, and her ultimate ability, the wall, is incredible for rotating and eliminating line of sight from other enemy teams trying to grief your fight. So if your team is having trouble with getting towards the end game and you need more knowledge of where the ring is moving, try a legend like Catalyst or one of the other controller legends. Then lastly, recon legends like Seer, Bloodhound, and Crypto are all super viable in their own regard, even despite some nerfs this season. Adding a recon legend can help you to find more fights, and it can be super beneficial if you're wanting to be a little more aggressive and forego having that controller legend on the squad. Crypto is exceptional at checking banners to see how many squads are in the area. He can also abuse the recon beacons to scan for enemies for 30 seconds. And if you desire to play more of a slow and methodical game plan with using the drone, then take advantage of Crypto. Or if you want to be super aggressive with your scanning and tracking, then Bloodhound is super good as an aggressive tracker. Seer is also sort of the in-between middle ground where he can play fast or slow depending on the situation with his abilities. Tons of legends were changed this season, and there really isn't one specific team composition that works for everyone. Experiment with your team, try a bunch of different legends out there and see what works for you. My next tip is approaching your close range fights this season with your secondary, which should be that close range weapon. It sounds obvious, but in the past, a lot of players would lead into all fights with their assault rifle since they were so consistent at both short, medium, and longer ranges. However, now AR's hipfire was severely nerfed, and actually crouching with your AR and firing is super detrimental to your aim and your shot now. I recommend pushing into fights you expect to be close range with your secondary or closer range weapon, and then switching to your AR for potential hipfire or ADS fire close range to down that target. Lastly, to vastly improve your gameplay, talk over your failures with your teammates. Why did you lose that fight? How could you or your teammates play it differently? Watch your gameplay over and see what you can correct. Once you learn from your mistakes, you're going to improve as a player and it won't happen again. So alright guys, I know it's been a lot, but I really enjoy making this content for you guys. So let me know down in the comment section if you want me to elaborate more on something, because I would really love to help you guys out and help you reach those higher ranks. Also comment down below what rank are you going for this season, and I'll catch you in my next video. I'm Grizzy and I'm out. Peace.